in this video I'm going to show you how to do some brush embroidery. So what I've done is on my polystyrene cake, I've iced it around the edge. Now you can do brush embroidery freehand or you can use like a stencil. So what I've done here is after I've iced it, I've literally just pressed in with a cutter some little shapes that I'm going to be able to draw around. Like I say, you can do it freehand, you can do whatever shape you want, but for this particular cake, this is what I'm going to do. Now this is set hard because I did this yesterday, but I'll show you now. I'll ice the top and I'll show you how we just imprinted that in there. Okay, so I'm just going to take a bit of fondant and some sugar paste. I'm just going to roll this out, if I can get my board to stay still. Okay, so I've rolled out some sugar paste. There's probably a bit more than what I need, so I'm going to cut it down so it's a little bit smaller. So it's just going to go on the top of my styrene cake dummy. Just make sure it's reasonably even. What I'm going to do is turn it over and just wet it a little bit at the back with a pastry brush so that it sticks to my dummy. Bring the dummy, place it on the top like that, and just going to use a smoother just to smooth it off at the top to make sure it is nice and flat. Then with my knife I'm going to trim around the edge. And you don't have to do it on a cake, you can do this on cookies or something that's flat for your brush embroidery. Okay, so that's for what I need. It's neat enough. I'm going to put a little trim around the edge afterwards. Okay, so you've got a plain surface and then you literally can push in with your cutter just lightly. Put a couple of them on there like so. You can use different size and shapes if you want, so I could add one like that in there, another little one there, and then that's ready to do our brush embroidery on. Okay, so what you're going to need is a piping bag. Now I've put number 2 nozzle in this bag. You can use different size nozzles. I would say the bigger your picture or your pattern that you pipe in, use a bigger nozzle. If you're going to really small things, go slightly finer just to make it a little bit easier. You'll also need a paintbrush, your royal icing and a little bit of water. So I filled my piping bag only about 1/3 full. You don't want more than that, otherwise it'll come out the top of the bag, and we don't need loads for what it is we're going to be doing. If you're not sure how to make your own paper bag, you can buy them, or if you watch my other video on YouTube, and it only takes 5 minutes to make one, so they are handy and cheaper than buying them, and you can just throw them away afterwards, that's fine. Okay, so what you're going to do, and only do this in small sections at a time, otherwise your royal icing will dry out. Just pipe, I'll try and do it this way for you, around one of the leaves. Now I'm going to try and make it a little bit wavy on the top, like that. Then taking a brush, just dampen it slightly. It's easier to use a square shaped brush, but you can use a finer one just to have a practice before you do anything on a real cake and just see what looks best. And what you're going to do is just put your brush through and pull it. Try not to go too far out because you still need a bit of a fat line near the edge. Just make sure your brush isn't too wet, and you just keep dragging it in like that. So then I'm going to turn it round again, and on this side do the same again. Try and wave it a little bit. You don't have to wave it again. Do that. It is important just to keep doing it in small sections at a time, and make sure your brush isn't too wet. keep going. If you want more icing, just use a thicker nozzle as well and give you thicker lines. Sorry, you might not be able to see what I'm doing because the brush gets in the way a little bit. Okay, and I'll just speed this up a little bit now so you can see what I'm doing with the rest of it, with it being a little bit quicker. Now, you can leave your flowers like that, or if you want, you can put some more petals inside. So, if you're going to do some more, pick whereabouts you want it to go. Just pipe in. When you've done your flower all the way around, just pipe yourself in a middle. You can have one round middle, or you could try several little dots for your middle. Whichever you think is going to be best. Like I say, have a little play around on some scrap icing first and see what you think is going to be best. I'm going to try a thinner brush for the smaller ones. Going all the way around. Like that, and then again add in a middle. Like that. Now, I'll do the rest and I'll speed it up so you can see what it looks like when it's finished. So that's the top bit done. I'm just going to repeat all the same again now for around the sides of my cake, and then I'll let it dry before I stick it on my display cake that it's going to go on. Okay, so now I've done around the edges and all on the top. It's gone around everywhere. It's just a little bit wet, so I do have to be careful when showing you. Same technique all over, and I've just drawn on some little leaves and put them on as well. So that's ready to go now on top of this cake, which is ready. Again, it's just a polystyrene dummy, ready for the wedding fair. So that's to go on there and be neatened up. And then that's done. So now you know how to do brush embroidery. If you did like this video and would like to watch any more, please subscribe to my channel. It's Zoes Fancy Cakes. There are a few videos on there at the moment, and I'll be making more. Please let me know if there's anything in particular that you do want to watch, and I'll see if I can make a video of it. Thanks.